Hey witches, it's Willow Moonlight here. I am going to try a little bit of a different format with my videos today. Just something I wanted to try out a little bit more with using my voice, getting more comfortable with the camera. So today I'm going to make a cabbage soup. What inspired this soup was an old recipe book that I found from, oh gosh, the early or mid 90s. Anyways, I was reading through the recipes and I really wanted this cabbage soup. So I made it once already and I have to say I really liked it. It's nice because this time of year, the snow is melting, of course, and it's cold outside, so I want something warm, but I also kind of want something lighter to eat. So that's another reason why I really like this soup right now. So it's pretty simple and easy to make. I already went through the liberty of grating some cabbage here. I don't really know how much is here. It's a quarter of a cabbage that I've grated up. I think the original recipe called for about, 2-3 cups of packed cabbage. I don't really like measuring things out very much. I do sometimes, but I don't know. I wouldn't worry too much. So yeah, the grated cabbage, also some tomatoes. I have whole tomatoes and I just mash them up, but you can use, diced tomatoes or whatever you have on hand. You'll also need an onion. You'll need some, damn it. You also need some peas. I just have frozen ones from the grocery store that are just kind of thawing out a little bit. I have here half a cup. Again, you don't have to measure this out. I think last time I used less and it was still fine. And you'll also need some veggie broth or stock, whatever you want to call it. I just have store-bought. Honestly, that's pretty well all that I use. I mean, you can use whatever, chicken stock or whatever I think was the original, but I just have some veggie broth on hand. Another thing that you're going to need, the original recipe called for a liquid sweetener, but I don't have a liquid sweetener. I'm just going to use some, plain unhealthy sugar here. Again, you can use whatever you want. And of course, you're going to need some salt. One more thing I want to add. If you don't have veggie stock, you can make your own by boiling down some veggie scraps and throwing some salt in there and, herbs, whatever you want. Or you can even just get some of those bouillon cubes and just dissolve it in a cup of hot water. Oops. Yeah. So, that's about it. I'm gonna get started here. And we're gonna start by opening up our can of tomatoes. I'm just gonna open this up. So, something that is exciting that's happening lately is my crazy neighbors have finally moved out. They have not lived here very long. I don't really know the full story, but all I heard was there was something wrong with the apartment that they were in. They were moving out. There was a U-Haul van outside, and the landlord person was talking to them. And I don't know. I had my headphones in at the time. I didn't hear the whole conversation, but they're moving out. And I mean, these people were crazy. Like, they had 3 kids, all under the age of like 3 years old, I swear. And they were so loud. Like, crazy, crazy loud. So here, now that I have my whole tomatoes in here, I'm just going to use a potato masher to mash these up really good. I like to mash it up really fine. It would probably be better if you bought diced tomatoes, honestly, but whatever. I just bought what was on sale. What was the cheapest. So yeah, anyways, so happy that my crazy neighbors have finally moved out. Like, oh, you have no idea. I'll be able to sleep better when I get off of night shift. So much better. Oh, yeah. So just keep mashing these tomatoes up really good. Make sure you get out as many lumps as you can. So one of the reasons why I started this channel to begin with was I had recipes and things that I wanted to create, and I want to show people that you don't need, you know, fancy equipment. You don't need elaborate ingredients to make really good food. One of my favorite YouTubers of all time, Colorful Canary, I started watching her channel, oh gosh, yeah, I don't know, there's a whole story of how I found her channel. I'll tell you another time. But I really like her videos because she pretty well just doesn't cook with any recipes a lot, and she's really neat, and she pretty well eats an all organic diet, although clearly I don't have an organic diet. But I admire her content a lot, and the time and thought that she puts into videos and the things that she shares, and it really just inspires me to get into the kitchen and, you know, make things, use what you have, and to just, you know, experiment. It really gave me more confidence in the kitchen. I just find that so many, I would always read recipes and they would have very like extensive, just really extensive recipe or ingredient lists, things that were expensive and hard to find, and then you would end up with like a bunch of ingredients left over, and you're wondering like, what am I gonna do? Like, I really only eat so much of something before I'm sick of it. And, you know, then you end up like, you know, a fridge full of like sauces and different ingredients, and you're like, I have no idea how I'm going to use this up. So that's another reason why I kind of like her philosophy when it comes to cooking. Another reason why I started my channel was because my friend, I will link her channel in the description box below. And I just really enjoyed watching her videos. Her content has kind of changed over the past several months, and I really love how she does her coffee talk. It's a lot of interesting things to listen to. But she used to also do some like DIYs and things like that. So anyways, check out her channel. So I think this is pretty good. I'm just gonna get rid of that. And now I'm just gonna put that to the side. And I'm going to grab my ugly cutting board. I don't think you can see it, but like, I try to use my nicer cutting boards when I make videos, but honestly, I have like this larger cutting board that I use most of the times, and it's just so much easier to cut things, but it's not so pretty on camera. But that's okay. We don't always have to have a pretty kitchen. So I'm just gonna peel back this layer. I'm just using a random, I don't know, it's kind of a small onion, I guess, but use, you know, whatever size onion you have. If you like it more oniony, that's fine. Just gonna get rid of this. So, yeah. What else is new in my life? I don't know. I'm just gonna cut these onions up quite small, like that. I mean, you can really cut your onions however you want. It's up to you. I just like to do it this way. I just find it's better because the root kind of stabilizes the onion, and you can just go in and just slice it up. Just be careful you don't slice your fingers. Definitely not a chef. That is not my trade. If you are wondering, I am a nurse. So, you know, very different from being a chef. So we'll bring back our pot of soup here. We got our tomatoes, and we're gonna add the onion. And we're gonna add the boatload of cabbage. Just try to get like as much of that as I can in. All right. Alrighty, I need a spoon. I'm gonna use this one here. I love it. It's so cool. And I'm just going to give this all a really good stir. I know it doesn't look the most appetizing, but really, you know, if you're thinking about your, you know, losing a few pounds for summer, this is a good soup to make. So now I'm gonna add my broth. You know something? Just kind of looking at this now, I'm just gonna add some more broth in. And maybe just a little bit of water. That's okay. All right. So now I'm just gonna take a little bit of salt, or, you know, a good amount of salt, and just stir that in. All right, so now the next thing that we have to do is to bring this soup to a boil, and then we're gonna simmer it and cover it for 20 minutes. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more stock to this. I'm going to add in, I don't have this perfectly measured out, but just some sugar, some sweetener. I mean, you can use whatever sweetener you want to use. Just using table sugar, but you know, liquid stevia or something would be okay too if you had it. It's just because there's so much acidity in here with the tomatoes, so it'll cut through. And then you can just add in your pea. You can add a little bit more salt if you like. There. And we're just gonna let that simmer again for another 4 minutes or so, just to heat up the peas. And that is the final soup. Now, I probably would not eat this as a complete meal, obviously. I would serve it as a side dish, and I think tonight I'm gonna cook up some fish that I have left and have that with my soup. All right, well, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.